Hello everyone, I'm Extra Cheesy 87 and this is Let's Play Persona 4 Arena Part 38. In the previous video we completed Akihiko's storyline. Now we are moving on to the penultimate character storyline, or well, coming back to the penultimate character storyline because we're doing it from the cliffhanger. Aigis, what exactly was going on in your storyline?
Lapras?
Yeah, you're here. You're in most of the storylines. Some might say you're in all of them. Lapras murmurs her name to herself. Her head hangs lifelessly as she stares at her mechanical limbs. The shock slowly drains from her pale face, replaced with bitter comprehension. Across the shadow glares at me with a piercing, menacing stare.
Why? You can't be! I am the same as you. 7th generation anti-shadow suppression weapon. Aigis. I am the model that came after you.
Are you here to seize her?
I won't let you! Not when I'm almost free.
The shadow turns to its double and cries out impatiently.
Lapras! Or do you want to be caught and locked in a cramped little box again?
Well, it's like not really a box, it's more of like a cylindrical pod. We here at the Kirijo group really don't like to use the word box. We find it a little constraining, and her eyes wander in search of something to settle on and eventually fixated on Yosuke. But he is still in shock, unable to speak in the heat of the moment. No, it's just the way he normally looks, actually. The moment of silence is enough to shatter any hope of a peaceful resolution. Lapras smiles lifelessly and hangs her head.
No, don't get me wrong. I was just a little surprised.
No, it's okay. That's how a normal person would react.
Her sad, weak voice makes my heart ache.
I won't let you take her back. I will gain my freedom, whatever it takes!
Suddenly the shadow fires its arm out. Man, I wish I could do that. A long chain trails from behind it, wrapping itself around Lapras many times over. The shadow begins to pull her in with its winch. Unable to struggle, Lapras is dragged over to her captor, who lifts her over its shoulder. The shadow then runs full speed out of the announcement room. It fled with such explosive velocity that it's hard to believe it was carrying its own weight.
Wait!
I give chase. It's unfortunate that I cannot explain the situation to Yosuke-san, but I have no choice. I exit in the hallway and see the shadow make for the stairway leading upwards. This is the top floor, so it must be heading for the roof. I climb to the landing and take the stairway 2 steps at a time before throwing open the door. What I find there is not what one would expect to see on the roof of a building. It is best described as a TV studio. The spotlights hanging from the scaffolding, the cameras here and there. Up until now, no matter how warped things got, they still look like part of a school. But now here, what is this place? Just then, the door behind me slams open again and a boy comes running out, breathing hard. It is Yosuke-san. I am perplexed. Why did he chase after us? There is no one here who would warrant leaving his friend Rise-san's side. Suddenly, the area is shrouded in a menacing aura. The shadow appears. It is still carrying Lapras over its shoulder. Lapras shouldn't be unconscious, but she isn't showing any sign of resistance.
Persistent pests. Too bad for you. The Grand Prix is still on. Have fun wasting time fighting each other.
Hey, wait! Whoa!
Your nose? As soon as Yosuke-san turns around to give chase, he runs up against something. I try stretching out my hand. Just as I thought, there is an invisible wall. Though it wasn't here when I climbed up the stairs. The only door back into the school is the one beyond the wall. In other words, we are trapped. Yosuke-san hangs his head in shame and looks at me awkwardly.
I guess this means we have to fight. Sorry, I feel like I got in your way.
I came here without thinking and fell right into the enemy's trap. I'm sure that's what he's thinking. But as I see it, it isn't Yosuke-san who should be apologizing.
I am also sorry for all this.
Huh?
We are the ones ultimately responsible for this incident. I am sorry to have dragged you all into it. If your friends are safe, I would suggest you evacuate at once. But in these circumstances, I must go after her.
There's no need for you to take the blame. I mean, I feel the same about wanting to go after her.
Why? I'm not sure this concerns you.
I promised I'd protect her, but I couldn't back her up when she needed me the most. So, like, I want to apologize and actually keep my promise this time. I feel like I can't leave her alone right now.
In his eyes, I could see a glimmer of determination.
I think I should explain certain things to you. I'm not authorized to disclose everything, but...
I can't remember. Did Yosuke fight Aigis in his storyline? I thought the main character fought Aigis. I reviewed the important parts for him. That personas and shadows are universal. That they have existed since ancient times, and that there are probably little known... Right, like, you know, at this point in their storyline, I guess we should specify. You know, when you do the little fight right after the cliffhanger against whoever else is in the announcement room. Probably little known battles and packs all over the world to harness their powers. That I have experience in one such battle, and was in fact created for that purpose. I am a weapon given a heart in order to use a persona. I explained that Labris was a prototype long sealed away, one that was lost during a recent incident. Yosuke-san doesn't seem to swallow all of it, but he listens attentively nonetheless.
There are shadows outside the TV too? Who would have thought?
I was surprised as well, to find out that a world like this was accessible through televisions.
Believe me, we were pretty shocked last year too.
I looked straight into the boy's eyes without laughing at his attempt to lighten the mood. Damn, iced. Only the winner can leave, so we must fight. There is no ignoring that cold fact. I suspect the shadow set this up to buy time. We don't have a moment to waste. I don't say anything, but Yosuke-san seems to get the picture.
Can you tell me something? What's going to happen to Labris once you catch her?
Gatling cannon.
I cannot answer that.
Yeah, I thought so. You did say that she was a weapon after all. Not really surprised you can't talk about it with outsiders.
Is that all? I must go get her back. If you cooperate with me, I am sure I can knock you out painlessly.
In response to my blunt suggestion, a wry smile appears on Yosuke-san's face. However, his eyes still have that gleam.
Sorry, but I can't back down.
Are you really going to fight me? Not to boast, but you would challenge a living weapon?
Yosuke's got his wrenches.
She said she wanted to be free. Hey, I made her a promise. I want to see it through. I guess you could say it's a guy pride thing?
He jokes about it, but there is resolve behind his words. He will not back down. What he is really saying is this. My feelings for Labris are as strong as yours. I smile inwardly, though it does not show on my face.
I understand. I accept your challenge.
I guess what do you do here exactly, girly? I mean, it's only been like maybe 2 or 3 weeks since we last did Aigis stuff. Maybe even a month. I don't know. This Let's Play's taking a long time. Nope. Yeah. Okay, so that's like a little dash back.
Just getting started. No crap. Just getting started. Maximum speed. Emergency. My other damage.
Oh god.
Aerial mode. Over. Going. Crap. Just getting started. Persona. Rise shot. No crap. Airstrike.
Why are you like take some Yosuke? Please stop being alive. Thank you. Oh, you saw Teddy fell down on the TV? That's rude. Yosuke-san smiles sheepishly at me from the floor.
I had a feeling I didn't have a chance against a pro like you. Ow. You sure are strong, Aigis-san.
Are you alright?
He waves his hand to show that he is fine. He should be exhausted. Perhaps the male pride prevents him from admitting it.
Looks like I'll be staying behind.
I will do what I can to not force anything on my sister that she does not want.
Can you tell her that I wanted to apologize to her too? Of course, I'll tell her myself once this is all over, but... Oh, and one more thing. Tell her we can have a party when this is all over.
Yosuke-san.
Oh, you're invited too, of course.
My heart is warmed. He's not just worried about Labris' safety, he's worried about her heart. I nod vigorously.
Yes, I will make sure to tell her. Though, we are not capable of eating food. Will that be a problem?
What?
Really? Nah, it's no problem at all.
Thank you.
I will save Labris from this world, from her cell of solitude. There are people in the outside world who accept us as allies. Some of them consider us friends. I am happy that hope is so close by.
Be careful. That shadow looked pretty strong.
I will. Please stay safe.
As he cheers me on from behind, I leave the roof. As soon as I re-enter the school, I can sense the shadow's presence without needing to scan for it. I follow the presence back to the announcement room. What could be waiting for me this time? I slowly open the door, wary of an attack. But the room is quiet, no ambush comes. I step inside. Both versions of Labris are facing each other, further into the room. I quickly step between the two, shielding Labris from her shadow. But the shadow does not seem alarmed. It spins its axe idly.
You're late. I had a feeling you'd be the one to come. Was Yosuke-kun a tough opponent?
As it finishes the sentence, its axe stops. I brace myself in anticipation of an attack, but the shadow simply smiles brutally.
Just as you thought. The real party begins now!
Just as the words sink in, I hear a sound simultaneously. The heavy sound of the air being sliced behind me. I lunge to the left solely on reflexes. A battle axe slams into the ground, where I had been only milliseconds ago.
What? Sister!
Oh, so close.
Shock spreads across my face. Labris takes a combat stance with her battle axe, her wet eyes focused on me. She has chosen to fight for the Unreal School.
Is this what you really want?
What else is there for me?
Labris sounds resigned in her reply. I have no answer for her. My heart aches as if it was cut by a razor.
It's finally come to this. Sister versus sister. Let the battle begin!
The shadow jeers me with delight. I do not have the presence of mind to deliver a rejoinder. The battle about to play out is straight from the worst case scenario I had envisioned. The very person I hope to save, my sister, I must defeat her with my own hands. Your own Gatling cannon. But like, couldn't we like just fight the shadow instead?
Final.
Strike! Dash! Hit! Going! I summon you! No! Please hit! Ha! Downward! Please hit! Shot!
Yep.
Hit! Ha! Maximum speed! Please hit! Scramble! Ha! Hit! Ha! Aerial mode! Target lock! Go! Going! Heavy damage! Shot!
Nope.
Dash! Ha! Hit! Air strike! I summon you! Athena! Dash! Hit! Going! Shot!
What? Yep.
Scramble! Ha! I summon you! Heavy damage!
Would you
No!
just stop being alive?
Emergency! Hit! No!
Oh my god. Oh my god, just freaking just a single hit, please. Just a single moment of fog. Alright, there we go. Labrys loses her strength and falls to her knees.
Why? Why can't I stay like this?
The hope she risked so much to gain has been shattered. She mutters piteously as she falls. She's not the only one who wants to collapse. I never imagined this would be so painful. Every time my attacks connected, I felt as if I was tearing out a piece of my heart. This unwanted exchange of violence, ending in one of our destruction, leads to nothing but despair. Okay, at least there's more meaning to it, I guess, when Aigis is fighting her, at least. So it doesn't feel like as much a filler as it did for the others. Each time I felt that pain, the memories of Labrys I saw in the classroom, those vivid images made sense. The sterile mechanical rooms that made up most of her visual memories. It must have been the facility where she was created. At that facility, Labrys was forced to endure the same pain she is feeling now. In order to gather combat data, she was forced to destroy her sister models, even though they had hearts. Not just once or twice, but over and over and over. It's too much for my mind to immediately comprehend. Agitation spreads through me like a fever. I clutch my chest.
I knew that you couldn't beat her.
The Shadow, in contrast, is completely nonchalant.
But wow, you really didn't have any qualms about attacking her. Deep down, you must really want to make them suffer, don't you? You want them to go through what you had to.
No! You want the everyday boys and girls to experience what you, right? That's you want to see close friends.
You want to.
That ain't true. But it was no use. Even another living weapon can't understand you. It's all right though. You don't have to worry about that anymore. I'll take care of everything from here. I'll destroy anyone who doesn't understand you and comes to get in your way.
I think we've seen that one.
That's all a lie! You're not me! Finally!
Alright, that was pretty much all the same, other than the line about the living weapon. That was new. The Shadow's eyes start to glow full of life. It isn't just a change in its attitude, its power seems to actually be rising. Did something in its conversation with Labrys catalyze this change? Too late, it hits me. What did the Shadow want with Labrys? It was trying to buy time, which meant it needed something from her.
It's time for the true star to take the stage!
Its shout shakes the air. As if in response to the cry, the room begins to warp. The view beyond the window shimmers ominously. We can watch Bull cutscene again. This will be like probably the last time we see it, so... We can watch this one and the
power!
Labrys gets her persona cutscene. And he's got some gnarly fingernails. Bro, you gotta get that shit under control. A giant incinerator appears in the darkness. Countless chassis are falling in to be cruelly destroyed. Illuminated by the blood-red light of the flames, the Shadow reveals its true self. Seeing Labrys' lookalike commanding a giant beast behind it brings to mind the summoning of a persona. I run over to Labrys and stand her lifeless body up. Or listless, I think is what it actually said. It seems that the Shadow has accomplished its goal with Labrys. I was used, forced to fight my sister for this purpose. I clench my teeth at my own slowness to comprehend.
Now, let's get started, shall we?
This isn't just for Labrys. This is the enemy, the fate of anyone not human.
It seems that I must take responsibility for this.
Oh, I never noticed it actually says Shadow instead of Persona on them.
Finally.
When it lists the name.
Maximum speed! What's the matter? What's the matter?
the Gatling cannon of doom.
Go down! Go out!
Alright. Yeah. The monster's form melts away as it disperses like fog. Oh, don't mention the fog, lady. Only a silhouette similar to Labras's remains. Labras's? It falls to its knees, having no will to resist anymore.
I somehow pulled through.
I turn to face the real Labras.
Are you alright?
She is conscious and seems to have no major damage. All that remains is to be tested here as her will.
Please listen. I have a message for you. From Yosuke-san. He said that he is sorry for promising to help you and being unable to support you when you needed it most. Additionally, he said that he would be throwing a party later. You are invited, of course.
You're lying.
If that is what you think, you can ask him yourself later. Now please, stand up.
I lend her my shoulder and prop her up. She follows my lead, but her legs are still
How
shaking.
come this happened? I didn't want to hurt anyone or make them suffer.
I know. That was a shadow going berserk. Not everything it said reflects your true feelings. I had a similar experience, actually. My other self was on the verge of going berserk. It told me there was an innate contradiction in having a heart, but not being human, preventing me from truly protecting others.
Wasn't that tough to listen to?
Yes, of course.
No, I just turned off all audio inhibitors, or not inhibitors. Frick, I couldn't think of the right word to make the joke work.
Then how can you stand it?
She just turns off her ears.
How
La
are you
la
still
la.
acting like everything's
She can't hear
fine?
you.
I'm fine right now, but I'm sure I will suffer that pain again someday. Very probably, as long as I am myself, it will never go away as long as I live.
It won't. Then what can I do but give up? What am I supposed to do?
We'll be alright, as long as we have friends.
Labras opens her eyes
It was
wide.
when you were alone that you suffered most. I'm sure of it. If you do not give up on reaching out to others, you will surely find someone who understands. Or maybe...
As I say this, I can hear voices from outside. They're calling our names. The voices grow closer and closer, and eventually one of the doors fly open.
Hey! There you are! Thank goodness!
Are you two okay?
You seem to have the matter in hand.
Kanji-san and Rise-san arrive shortly after. Now that the shadow has been defeated, the invisible walls trapping them have disappeared. There are some faces new to me as well. As I recall from the video, they are Yu Narukami-san and Yukiko Amagi-san. There was also a costume that looked like a General Teddy. This must be the real Teddy that Chie-san mentioned. The resemblance is strong, but this one is so charming it's hard to hate him. That's very true. Everyone has considerate words for Labras. My heart is filled with warmth. They could have ignored us outsiders and escaped, but they didn't. They were truly worried about us and came running. All of them. I addressed Labras, who was looking back and forth between me and them with a perplexed look.
It might be more accurate to say that those who understand you are already here. Of course, I want to understand you as well. Please talk to me whenever you want. Tell me about your memories, even if you have to take them one at a time.
Labras sinks deep in thought, then looks at me again. I nod silently. She slowly starts walking and stops in front of the shadow, who stands as quietly as a real one at the other end of the room.
You were right. I was always alone, so I had no one to talk to, no matter how much it hurt, and I went and blamed that on them.
Alright, for one final time, because I think we only watched this one the one time, back at the start of the cliffhanger stuff.
I'm sorry I ignored you all this time. I was the one who left you all alone. You are me, after all.
I mean, it's a nice scene.
This is my persona.
Got literal bolt-on tits.
This reminds me of us from last year.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
It had to be said.
She's really no different from us.
Yosuke-san and the others smile. To acknowledge one's weakness in front of others, they must have earned their personas through the same ordeal. I can see now why their bond is so strong. The tension in the air evaporates. Just as Labrys's expression softens, a familiar voice comes from behind.
Is that Labrys?
Everyone turns to look at the newcomer.
Mitsuru-san, Akihiko-san, you're all right.
Of course we are.
I run toward them. Neither of them appear to be injured. I notice that they aren't surprised to see Yosuke-san and the others. They must already be aware of the situation. On the other hand, everyone else is surprised.
Who are these people and what the hell are they wearing?
Oh man, a dude storming across the battlefield in just a cape? I am all about that.
I'd say you've got good taste.
No, actually, have you seen what she wears?
Seriously?
Labrys grabs weakly at my
Don't
arm.
worry.
I smile and nod. She still bites her lip in anxiety, but she is no longer afraid of everything.
You're Labrys, correct?
Labrys simply nods in response to Mitsuru-san's question as she walks up. There is a moment of silence. Mitsuru-san's sigh of relief breaks
I'm
it.
glad you're safe.
Labrys smiles back awkwardly. The look on her face helps dispel the tension in Yosuke-san and his friends. Mitsuru-san notices this as well. I step forward alongside Mitsuru-san to introduce ourselves and show our appreciation. It seems they have never met a Persona user who didn't awaken in the TV world. We spend some more time discussing our respective circumstances. Teddy leads us back to the roof. They say this was the place they used to enter and exit this world. Labrys, who still doesn't quite understand that she is in the TV, cocks her head in bewilderment. Does she even know what a TV is? I mean, I guess she has, you know, access to the archives, but she probably wouldn't have too much personal experience with one. Yosuke-san and his friends gather around her and explain everything. She is shocked at first, but she grows accustomed to the idea. She begins laughing. Relieved, I leave Labrys to them. I approach Mitsuru-san and Akihiko-san. I relay to them all the information I have gathered on this case so far. I tell them that the tournament's host was Labrys' shadow, which had emerged from her, and that Labrys may not have been stolen, but that she may have escaped on her own. She has the ability to manipulate people's senses. That would explain the signs of mental interference found on the hijackers. We were able to discover Inaba through our research. Perhaps she used the same methods. It would have taken time, but she was sealed away for over 10 years. Although she was caged, it is not clear whether she was conscious or not during that period. She had more than enough time. Mitsuru-san and Akihiko-san show no surprise, but they do let out a long sigh. In contrast to Mitsuru, who is lost in thought, Akihiko-san goes to get an answer straight from the source. Labrys startles when he taps her shoulder.
So when did you actually awaken?
Akihiko-san's question is blunt, but Labrys handles it calmly, knowing that it is the natural thing to ask.
You know, I can't remember.
Well, that's not a red flag. He's being honest. He had used her ability on herself, not even she knew what she really was. But Akihiko-san seems skeptical. Having no memory of it also means that she is unable to deny it.
Please, Mitsuru-san. Can you be lenient with her?
Mitsuru-san folds her arms and thinks. I know she is in a difficult position. Though Lapras may have a heart, it does not make her human. She is a weapon with dangerous capabilities. Mitsuru-san cannot decide based on her personality alone what measures to take. Especially now that we are affiliated with the police. We have to set an example.
Yeah, would you, please?
Yosuke-kun.
I know I'm asking without knowing the whole story here, but please don't lock her up again.
Or else, add an or else, because remind them they're outnumbered. Even his friends seem surprised by his outburst, but soon enough they are all giving Mitsuru-san the same pleading look. Mitsuru-san winces before giving a wry smile.
Well, I hadn't intended to seal her away again to begin with.
Mitsuru-san!
Seriously? Did you hear that?
It should be a walk in the park compared to the challenge of sending Aigis to school.
Got a point. She has no intention of locking her away. All the Kirijo group is gonna do is install a Bitcoin miner on her brain. The newfangled thing. It's actually a smart idea in 2012.
Thank you so much.
How about if we go outside? This isn't really the place to stand around and chat.
Mitsuru's gonna be a frickin' gajillionaire.
Yeah. Well, it was a hell of a way to start off a holiday, but at least it's over. Man, why'd that shadow have to pick our school and us of all people?
Mitsuru-san and Akihiko-san freeze.
You know, that is odd now that you mention it. I was told this place takes its shape from a person's memories. Why would it become this high school?
I had picked up on that incongruity as well. Putting aside that Inaba was chosen as the escape destination, why was a specific school so carefully recreated? I also have my doubts about Labras's power. Strictly speaking, it doesn't rob one's sanity. What her power really does is cloud one's senses with illusions. I'm not sure that would have been enough to control those hijackers so completely.
Hey, Lapras.
Akihiko-san calls out to Lapras again. Oh shit, the Bitcoin miner, it's already messing up. The instant he puts his hand on her shoulder, she twitches.
Hey, what's the matter?
Lapras abruptly leaps backwards. Everyone is baffled to see her white body flying over their heads.
She's...
Stay back, everyone!
Akihiko-san is the first to realize the danger and yell a warning to the others.
Sister?
Lapras stands there emotionlessly. Slowly her right hand reaches for the battle axe on her back. Tension fills the air.
Why?
The blade of the axe is pointed towards me. I do not comprehend. What's going on? As I stand there confused, Lapras lowers her stance, readying herself for battle. I open my mouth to try and persuade her, but I can't. There is no time. Lapras now has the use of her persona. She will be stronger than before. If I don't focus on counterattacking, I'll lose. I clench my jaw and hold in the despair that threatens to overwhelm me. I must concentrate on the problem at hand. And the solution, you already know, it's a Gatling cannon.
Finally.
All right, what do you do again? Your blast. All right.
Fighting, go! Air raid! My other self! Persona air raid!
Oh god.
Heavy damage, shot!
There's a freaking dang orb, man. No. Bad. Labrys falls to the ground with a thud.
Labrys!
I try to run to her, but I stop when I hear an unearthly
You
voice.
succeeded in repulsing it yet again. Very unexpected.
Not really that unexpected. Everyone takes a defensive stance and looks around.
What is this? I'm not getting a good feeling about this.
It's certainly an ominous presence. But that voice.
Is that my voice?
Yes, it is. Before I can react, an unnatural-looking shadow, a clump of darkness thick as a pool of blood, forms next to Labrys. Our true enemy rises up from the sludge. It is a sight I will never forget.
No. Aigis-san's shadow?
To think you'd fight back this fiercely. No wonder you once drove back a god. Yes, I want them even more now.
Want them? What does that mean?
Yosuke-san lashes out at the enemy, but it ignores him and continues talking.
Sadly, it seems things won't be going according to plan this time. But I'll make use of what tools I have to the very end. This is my last chance. No, more like a marvelous entertainment. Entertainment?
Instead of answering, it raises its right hand over Labrys.
Stand, my puppet.
I do like Shadow Labrys's voice. I like the way it's done.
Is it controlling her?
Sister!
She doesn't answer. Her face is a blank stare and her shoulders hang unnaturally. She is every inch its puppet. Confused, I look again at the enemy. Is that my shadow? It looks like me, but its voice, its powers, they are all so different from mine. But before I can come to a conclusion, the enemy uses Labrys to make its next move.
This form is exhausted from constant battle and will be useless as an asset. But unless you destroy it, it will keep rising up and attacking you all. What will you do?
With the battle axe in hand, Labrys dashes forward without warning. Her attack is much more forceful than in the last battle. Even with all my strength, I am pushed back.
Oh crap! If this keeps up...
Let's do this! Takemika!
Wait! Don't interfere!
What?
Please!
I clench my teeth. Labrys is under that thing's control and ignoring her own limits, and she is already damaged and exhausted from the previous battle. If we all attack, we might be able to contain her, but she could be destroyed in the process.
Now, may you suffer and curse your fate. Relinquish your personas!
Relinquish?
Personas and shadows are one and the same. If I poison your hearts, I can recruit shadows with unparalleled strength.
Wait, what? You mean turn our personas back to shadows?
The heart is frail. Its weaknesses are never fully vanquished. Given the opportunity, it can betray you and return to darkness. Old wounds that you thought you had overcome, opened once again. You almost let go of your hearts, your personas. This one's desire to make people suffer was perfectly suited for such a plan.
Plan?
Yeah, we've heard all that again, but I just kind of wanted to hear the voice acting.
You caused all this to gather strong shadows?
You bastard! Who are you?
You had best hurry and decide. Who will be destroyed? This shell, or the lot of you?
Labrys flies through the air again and unleashes a full force attack. I'm forced to one knee. She attacks again. But just when I'm sure it's over, something happens.
Sorry, but this show is over.
Out of the corner of my eye, I see Mitsuru-san stand straight up. Suddenly, the menacing aura surrounding Labrys is dispelled like magic.
What?
For the first time, the enemy seems shocked. Freed from the spell, Labrys falls to the ground.
Sister!
I run to her and cradle her in my arms. What was that? Mitsuru-san smiles defiantly and glances up to the sky.
Looks like you made it in the nick of time. You saved us, Yamagishi.
An answering voice echoes in my head. That soft but extremely reassuring voice.
Are you all okay?
Fuka-san?
Fuka Yamagishi-san. He is a fellow ally who helped us overcome the challenges we faced in the past. I cannot help but smile with surprise and joy.
So you had a third assistant.
Ooh, what a soothing voice! My teddy senses are telling me that this is a real cutie pie!
Is this like Rise-chan's persona? Wait, where is she?
This feeling. What the?
Rise-san opens her eyes and looks up.
It's not
Seriously? She can use hers in the...
Even before I can ask, Fuka-san tells me what I want to know.
Aigis, the enemy is just mimicking your appearance. It's not actually a part of you.
very impressive to guess correctly from such a long distance away.
Mitsuru-san stares at the enemy in shock. We hear Fuka-san's words as if she is speaking, but technically there is no sound. She transmits her voice directly into people's minds. Other people should hear nothing. Yet the enemy is responding to her. I raise my guard in spite of myself, but there is no fear in me. My doubts about the enemy, my hesitation are gone. My heart starts to burn. What is this? I've never felt this heated emotion running through my body before.
You must be the one behind all this. You stole Labris and threw her into a TV. You were after Persona users from the start. That's why you chose this school and tampered with Labris's memories. And you just demonstrated how you controlled...
So this must be the real Puppet Master.
Then, that voice who tried to dissuade me back in that classroom.
You're quite slow for a machine.
Little
Can't
rude.
you tell by looking at me who that was?
So, that wasn't something my heart saw, but just a malicious whisper? The fire in my heart is stoked higher, and I make a fist without realizing it. I thought this entire incident was just an unfortunate event caused by my sister's suffering, but her pain was all orchestrated by someone. This isn't her tragedy. Someone saw to it that this would happen. And not just a Labris. Whoever did this tried to manipulate the pain in my heart too, by posing as my shadow. And to top it off, the culprit posed as everyone here to make them distrust each other, reopening old wounds. This was all an evil plan. I am not human, but because of that, I hold the hearts and bonds of others to be sacred. They saved me. They kept me going. And yet, it tested those bonds and used our anguish for its own purpose. Our hearts were nothing but tools to it. Tools to hurt others. I see. I get it now. This roaring, violent surge of emotion. This shaking, burning, erupting sensation. I realize that this is a type of emotion which can best be described in a single word. This is fury.
Are you angry? All right.
I like that
I'll
sequence.
play along. The show must go on, right?
You've gone too far.
Finally.
Oh my gosh, you got freaking red hair. Oh god, I've been destroyed. Okay. My blocks, they did nothing. No. Come back. Oh my god, I just can't like get close.
Montana aerial mode. Here I go, charging. Now. Montana dash.
Alright, we got this.
Maximum speed.
This thing shaped like me falls to the ground on its knees. But he gets right back up with an awkward, jerking motion and lets out an insane laugh. The smile on its face, contrasted with its damaged limbs, has the eeriness of a clown.
This is fine with me.
I didn't get my ass kicked, I just lost on purpose.
Good enough for my purposes that I confirmed you have enough power to meet my expectations.
Good enough, my ass.
Those are the words of a sore loser.
They got a point.
This is only a temporary form. I doubted there'd be any meaning in changing my appearance, but sure enough, it made for a very enjoyable game. All that irritates me is having to feign cooperation with that foolish human until I obtain the one true vessel.
That foolish human. An odd choice of words. It would seem to imply not only that it is not human, but also that it is working with a human to carry out its crimes.
I will see you in another guise next time. Just wait until then.
It let out a raucous laugh in my face. After that, it slowly fades away, dissipating into the air.
Yamagishi!
Mitsuru-san quickly calls out. However,
The reading disappeared.
Back to school.
Akihiko-san lets out a heavy sigh.
Sheesh. It even had to exit on a lame, evil laugh.
Another guise, huh?
Don't even think about coming around here again!
Should we put up some talismans? I've got a lot left over from when we were putting them up in our inn.
What?
Well, even if it shows up again, it'll get double the pain we gave it this time.
Who could it be, though?
We,
How did
Kanji,
it
you didn't
know
do
about our
anything.
personas?
That aside, it sure had a sneaky way of doing things. This is twice I've been kidnapped into the TV world, you know. Twice!
The irritation is obvious. And it's only natural. They were toyed with too, and they do not take Labrys' treatment well. But I cannot encourage them to settle the score. Akihiko-san apparently thinks the same thing.
Don't worry about it. We'll handle things from here.
Wait, but it kinda said it was still after us.
Of course. You should be aware that the enemy is out there. Akihiko only means that we will do our best to ensure that no—
But
Guys, let's leave this to them.
You can...
are you serious?
They're right that we need to go back for now. You look beat.
Yusan, aware of the situation, speaks out. Perhaps he senses our dilemma.
I'm sorry, everyone.
He nods and looks at Yosuke-san, who reluctantly gives up. Their ability to communicate through eye contact only proves the strength of their bond.
Alrighty, attention please! The trip doesn't end until we get out of the TV!
Dude, we were in the middle of a conversation. And what's this about a trip? You really gave us a scare disappearing like that. And this isn't the first time either.
It's not my fault! Or should I actually sponsor the next Miss Inaba?
Don't even think about it.
Hie-san's fist is still shaken with anger after impacting Teddy at full strength. There are times when you should give it your all because it's your friend. How beautiful friendship is. I comprehend. After everything calms down, we finally move on to the main subject. We all gathered onto this roof in order to leave this world. After getting everyone's attention, Teddy makes a few narcissistic remarks and clicks his heels. Then, like a magic trick at a party, some old TVs appear in a puff of smoke.
What are you doing with this ancient TV? Hang on, where'd you even get this?
It's a Teddy vision?
It's a Teddy vision! You can get out from here!
I just love how that doesn't explain anything at all.
This TV is our escape route? Can we really fit inside?
Yeah, probably.
Ooh, are you a little too front-loaded to fit? In that case, I wouldn't mind helping you squeeze through!
And then Teddy died. The end.
even worse than before, you know that?
Chie-san and Yosuke-san jump in without hesitation, showing how used to it they are. Seeing that, Akihiko-san and Mitsuru-san shrug and follow suit. Labra stares as everyone gets sucked into the TV one by one. But she doesn't look scared. Her eyes are actually bright as she glances this way. I can't help but smile at that. She doesn't need my permission to do anything. I tell her to go ahead and she dives in headfirst with a giant grin. Although, just as I thought, her wings don't fit and she gets caught on the screen. I burst into laughter to see her legs sticking out of the TV, kicking wildly. No, stop. Stop thinking that. No, don't stop thinking it. I take off the unit on her back and she instantly gets sucked into the TV. I wonder if she landed safely. As the last one left, I turn around and take a final look. It doesn't feel like it, but it's only been a few hours since we entered the TV, and only 3 days since the hijacking. It was a horrible nightmare, but at the same time, I met some good people. But most importantly, it isn't over. The true test may still be to come. I push my toes in and slip into the TV. Everyone made it back out safely. When we return to the real world, I'm surprised to find myself in Junes, a large department store. I have never seen Mitsuru-san so flustered. Even she could not have expected to emerge in the most crowded place in town, and from a display TV at that. But to make it back to the limousine, we have no choice but to walk through the store. Mitsuru-san in her skin-tight suit. Akihiko-san mostly naked except for his cape. Me with my mechanical parts exposed, and Labras with her axe, or her wings I suppose. Not to mention Teddy, well they're used to him. Rise-san and Naoto-san are both public figures, one is an idol and the other is a detective. We make quite an outlandish procession. Considering the nature of our operations, I hope to avoid having my picture taken with phone cameras. However, as we walk along, I soon find that my fear of cameras is baseless. In fact, it is not cameras we need to worry about at all, it is the police. I find myself anxious in this completely unexpected situation. An arrest would mean disgrace as an unofficial unit, and I'm sure Yosuke-san and the others would like to avoid the inside of Juvenile Hall. Everyone hastily agrees with each other and takes off at full speed. Yeah, that'll teach him, just fucking run away. You'll never catch us alive. I can hear Yosuke-san and Chie-san loudly complaining about the unfairness of the world. Mitsuru-san and Akihiko-san exchange fearless smiles, though a cold sweat is streaming down both of their faces. Teddy is overcome by horniness. Teddy and Labra seem like they're having fun. I don't think they understand the situation. Yu-san and Yukiko-san run without a word like determined athletes. Kanji-san tries to turn and fight ever so often with Naoto-san, having to stop him each time. Rise-san switches on her cell phone to find an alarming number of missed calls, which seems to be the bigger problem for her. In the end, our parting with the Yasugami High School students concludes with a brief goodbye as we all scatter like birds. I do like the detailed how they only got out of there section that's just been glossed over in all the others. That night, we decided to stay the night in Inaba for a quick health checkup and review of the case. After finishing the necessary steps, we decide to take an early rest. The true culprit is still out there, and Labras needs to get to the lab for proper maintenance. After 10 years of stasis, she was suddenly forced into a series of stressful battles. It would not be surprising if some of her parts are now malfunctioning. Considering the morning traffic, we should leave early in the day. Or so I suggest, but Labras has other ideas. May 4th, the next day. Our car is parked near an intersection away from the main road. We are here to say goodbye to everyone. Labras wanted it this way. I'm happy that she wishes to see people again of her own will. On the side of the street, all the people we met yesterday are gathered to see Labras one last time. They wished to say goodbye to her, but they had not expected us to contact them.
I asked if I could come see everyone. I wanted to give everyone a real goodbye.
What do you do next? Are you going back to that lab?
No, I decided I'm gonna work with Mitsuru-san and them. I want to do my damnedest to catch whoever used me to bait a trap for you all.
All right. Then I guess the party's on hold until after everything's really over. But hey, you should come see us again anyway. Promise me, okay?
You got it.
Labris shakes hands with each of them. Even after we leave, Labris keeps waving through the rear window. Waving and waving and waving. Waving and waving and even past the point where human eye can no longer see her, she is still waving. After she has waved to her heart's content, she turns to see Fuka-san and I looking at her and blushes. Fuka-san giggles.
I'm glad things went well. Oh, but first, it's good to see you again. This is becoming a real reunion.
Indeed. Things are going to heat up from now on. I must get back and reallocate my staff.
You're including me in there, right? Every opponent I made a mistake against on my journey, I made sure to go back and get a rematch. This'll be no different.
It should spur discussion amongst the staff again about working Yamagishi into our unit.
Huh? I'm still not sure about joining any special unit.
Flustered, Fuka-san starts wringing her hands. Glancing at the seat next to me, I notice Labris looking into the sky through her window.
I didn't know the sky was so blue.
There is deep wistfulness in her
Back
voice.
at the lab, they only let me out at night. But this... I feel like I've seen it once before. That same bright blue sky.
Once before. I recalled the memory relating to those words amongst the countless memories of Labris awakened within me. The sea. That cerulean sky and lingering clouds, the emerald blue water. In my mind, I place Labris at the scene. A white figure gazing from the edge of a pier. I know this scenery. For an instant, it feels that I do. Like a knot slowly undoing itself, the lid to a box inside of me opens, and something hot fills my chest. What had been only an image becomes a memory. Soon after, I understand everything. I know when Labris saw this scene. I know what she thought when she saw it. What she wished for.
Ah, I see now.
Noticing my murmur, Labris looks at me in wonder.
The scenery from your memory was the pier outside of the Yakushima laboratory.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Suddenly, Labris's eyes open in surprise.
The date was the final day before you were sealed. You made a heartfelt wish there. You hoped that your successor would make the same wish to see someone precious to them. And that meeting would take place at the pier. You dreamed that your successor would be able to go beyond that pier, to places you would never be able to see for yourself. And that even if your memories were deleted, your feelings would be passed on to the next generation.
Labris's ruby eyes begin to quiver. My words have unearthed her buried memory.
Yeah, that's right.
It was at that very place where I met the friends I have now. When I was searching for someone, I found myself naturally drawn there for some reason.
My memories return to a certain encounter. That day on that very same pier, I met him. My dear friend.
I think it was because of your wish.
My wish? You mean the thing I wished for that day actually came true?
Indeed. It stayed alive for 10 years. Thank you, Labris. It's because of you that I found happiness.
Huh. I didn't know that. My desires. All the feelings I got from the others. They didn't go to waste.
Tears stream down Labris's cheeks. I stretch out a finger to wipe them off, but it's already wet from a drop in my own cheek. Mitsuru-san and Fuka-san smile at us gently. Fuka-san seems a bit teary-eyed herself.
I gotta thank you, too. You made me remember something important.
After wiping her tears, Labris looks at me, her eyes clear and determined.
Someone I have to find. I need to meet her so I can tell her something.
I'm about to extend my hand to shake hers, but it now seems too distant a gesture for us sisters. Instead, I pull her towards me and look at her face to face.
I'm sure you will. You're not alone anymore. We can search for her together.
Yeah. Thanks.
As the sun shines down, she gives me the biggest smile I've seen on her yet. As elaborate of the, like, ending sequences, I think that's probably like, the highest high. I mean, aside from, like, Labrys's thing that it's the scene that it's referencing. I really, really like that sequence. I don't know. Like, if we're just talking about the Persona 3 characters, I think I liked Akihiko's more overall than Aigis and Mitsuru, but Aigis had the highest high. So maybe like Akihiko, Aigis, Mitsuru, but also it could very easily be Aigis, Akihiko, Mitsuru. Definitely one of you two first. Mitsuru's, it wasn't bad or anything, I just didn't like it quite as much as these. And we'll wait until we finish Elizabeth. Well, not next time, because we'll have to start it from the scratch. I assume it'll probably be, you know, similar length to the others. So it'll probably take 2 or 3 videos to knock out. And then we'll be done with the character storylines and move on from there. I'm Extra Cheesy 87. Stay tuned for the next part. And bye, guys.